Wow, it's been a hot minute, Jem.
It has. Yeah, I've missed you. I've missed this.
I've missed this so much, and I just want to come on and do a very public apology. Know that this is very much a me issue, not Jem issue.
Welcome back to The Conversation, where we're breaking barriers, building confidence and changing lives with the Let's Chat Girls podcast. Don't forget to subscribe.
Life's just been mad. Like, you've probably noticed, I've been really quiet on socials. And if I have been posting, it's generally been I'm having a mental breakdown. Because
at least you've been very honest on there, though. People, and it's good for people to know, I think.
Yeah.
You know, but there is also that awful pressure, isn't there, of social media? If you just want to have a bit of a break, you feel like you have to tell people that you're having a break. Do you know what I mean?
Well, do you know what it is, right? I knew that if anyone came to me and said what I was like going through, and I know I spoke to you and that about it, they would say, take a step back. And I would say, take a step back. So it was one of the first times in my life I think I've actually had to take my own advice and be like, do you know what? I need to there's only so many things that you can have going on at once. And what people don't see about what we do is that behind the scenes, yes, on social media, you see us coming up and putting content up and recording the podcast, but behind the scenes, we're doing so much work with our clients. And so sometimes you have to just look at your priorities, don't you, and be like, well, actually, they're what's really important. Like, I need to put all of the energy that I have into them.
Yeah, that's our job, isn't it? That is what we do, and that's what we love.
And they've trusted you, haven't they, with their journey and with helping them. But yeah, life has just been really challenging. You may notice some different setups from now going forward for the whole podcast from me, because we've got Poppy at home all the time now for their foreseeable. Any other Sen parents will be able to relate. But yeah, we had a 180 in our life setup, which we weren't really anticipating, and has thrown us through the ringer. It really has thrown us through the ringer. But we are finding our feet with it now. And I think I needed that little bit of time just away to figure out how we were going to juggle everything. It's the only way I've been trying to explain to my friends, right? It's our life has basically become lockdown 2020 again. Only this time.
I thought that is very similar, isn't it? You're kind of trapped at home and it's that you have to just make it work. It's so hard.
Yeah, but only this time, instead of having a newborn, we've got a 4, soon to be 5-year-old at home. But it really is like that. And if you want to see more content about like what life's like as a Sen parent, I have been putting some more stuff out on
I love
Instagram
it. I find it really fascinating, because I haven't been through it. I don't understand it and can't relate, but I find it really interesting and really educational. I think people need to know, especially people that know you, because they know you and they probably feel like they're your friends. It's like really interesting to hear, but also to be able to support you and understand as well.
Yeah, and I feel like I was really torn. I've been really torn for ages, right? Because obviously I had the old mummy account back in the day. And I stopped that because, quite honestly, if we think the world of weight loss is judgmental, you try getting into the online world of parenting, it is really vicious. So I decided when I was on one-to-one Diet Wildflower at the time, as my Instagram was more anyway. So I parked Mama to a Wildflower. And after that, I was just really, really apprehensive of putting anything to do with parenting and Pops on socials specifically. Obviously, she's been in the background of my content before. I've spoken briefly about her. But there is something that feels quite vulnerable about putting that aspect of our lives out there. But equally, that is our life at the minute. And do you know what? Yeah. Like, I could bulk create a load of content that's about weight loss and whatever, but I wouldn't be putting the right energy into it, and you'd be able to tell. And what it's
people
like.
Can see through it.
Up. Yeah, and people are just like, it's crap. It's not giving me anything. I'm like, yeah, I know. I've got nothing to give you. So I thought the vlogs might be good. And also I hope it shows people, see me and Jamie back on plan, because quite frankly, our lives went to chaos in December.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Yeah. I was so cocky in December after that reset. I was like,
Fever.
I have smashed this. Yeah. I've done so well. And I had done really well. And I was, it was completely authentic in that my head was in such a good place. Firsthand, Jen, what I've been like with food. And to have my head in that place was just so refreshing and nice.
It's that control back, isn't it? You get that full control. You feel really, well, you do. You feel like invincible. And we hear it all the time in our job, don't we? And once you've been on that plan for a couple of weeks, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm sorted for life. And it's like, oh, no, it's not quite that easy, unfortunately.
It isn't. I wish it was. It isn't. But what the plan gave me, and what that reset especially gave me, was this new appreciation for being more balanced. And when I was doing the reset back through September to Christmas, I really focused on that. I did you know me, so much research into the way our minds work, and developed more materials for my clients around like black and white thinking. Did loads of work on it. But this is just to say you could do all the work in the world. I think if you're predisposed to be an emotional eater or somebody who uses food to cope, sometimes that would just override everything else that you've got going on, especially when you're in like a crisis point, which is where we were straight like Christmas onwards. It was really intense. And it's like anything, right? It's not like an alcoholic who becomes sober suddenly the next day drinks 4 bottles of wine again. It's like, right, I just have that one glass just to get through tonight. And that was with us. It was like,
it's the start, isn't it, of a slippery slope. And an alcoholic can't do that. They can't just have one glass. But the weird thing is, me and Jim were talking about this, people understand that with sort of alcoholics, you wouldn't offer them a glass. But with food addiction, we talk about it a lot, don't we? It's so different. People don't understand it, but it is the same. It's even harder.
It really is.
You have to have food, you know, throughout the day. You don't have to have alcohol. If you are strong enough to give that up, you can live without it, but you can't live.
You can. And it's something that, like you say, from a societal perspective, actually, when you're probably at your most vulnerable for emotional eating, which is like, for example, you are going through a difficult period, grief, stress, whatever it is, when people see you like that is actually when they'll feed into the problem, because no pun intended, they will then start like offering things. They'll be like, let's go for food, let's get taken, because it's like, let's make it better. But actually that makes it worse for me. And I think the colliding of pups coming away from school and Christmas was a disaster, because we naturally were relaxing a bit over Christmas and enjoying a few more things. But what that meant is that whenever we were stressed, it was like, it's another day, we'll get back on it again.
You're already in that overindulging. It's so hard. It's the same as holidays, that you never get straight back on plan or straight back to healthy eating the day you get home. It always blends into a few more days or sometimes weeks, because it's really hard to get that motivation back. And if you're both in the same, like if one of you was being maybe, I don't know, a bit more, maybe a bit stronger and kind of encouraging the other one, but when you're both struggling, it's like, what do you both turn to? You've always turned to food, like together. So it's your thing, isn't it?
That's it. Like, we're both emotional eaters, like probably in 2 very different ways. Jamie isn't an emotional eater in the way I am. Like, I think there's this real misconception that blokes don't really struggle with emotional eating, but they do. And actually, maybe, I don't know how we would ever do this, because Poppy is so to his hip, but maybe in a vlog I'll try and get him to speak a bit about it, because I think it's really important for us to understand. We sometimes, from a guy's perspective, all they hear when it comes to weight loss is women going, it's so easy for you lose weight really quickly, you don't have any trouble. And you know, I am guilty of that, but
you lose it so quickly, so easy.
I'm a girl's girl, so I will forever be like that. But actually, on a serious note, it is just as hard for them. And when it was getting really bad, he said something which was, I don't know why. Do you know when people say stuff and you're like, that really has struck a chord with me for some reason? And it wasn't like anything it was like nothing I didn't know. But he was just like, we'd ordered the 57th millionth takeaway in January that we were having, because literally, obviously we weren't cooking, I don't cook. So it would got to the point where it was basically multiple takeaways a week. And he was like, I just feel like I can control nothing else at the moment but what I'm eating. And it was so true, because our lives had just been thrown into this complete chaos. Like anyone who's got like an autistic child, a child with PDA, pathological demand avoidance especially, will know you do not control anything, because you can't put any type of demand on your child. It has to be a proper low demand environment, which goes against everything, right, that you know of parenting. And so you do forfeit a lot of control. And then add into the mix that we're self-employed. So it's not like we can just go, oh, I'm going to take time off work and I'll get paid. Because that's not an option for us. Like, I have to work, but it was just becoming so difficult because of where everything was at. Yeah, it felt like there was no control. And the only control that we had every day was deciding what takeaway we're going to have, what snacks are we going to get, what are we going to do?
Yeah, you've got full control of what you're having there, haven't you?
And yeah, for him, it really, really is a more of a control thing than it is anything else. Whereas, like for me, I mean, I am like emotional eater from a perspective of it makes me feel better. Like I don't care what anyone says. Food fixes things, not forever, but it does fix
in the
things
moment
for that moment. Yeah,
yeah
and
yeah, I agree.
I hate when people say food doesn't fix anything. Does Sandra? Sandra,
it does for me in the moment. Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
me feel good. Chocolate, dairy milk.
Yeah,
Is my
I was just
thing.
about to say, do you know what? I had a real bad affair with Galaxy during that
See,
period
I
of my
don't like
life.
Galaxy. I'm funny with Galaxy.
I don't
It's too
normally.
creamy, too sickly.
Well, you know me, I love a sweet. I love. So don't know why that's just made my brain go to not a great place. It's probably because I used the word affair with Galaxy. That
Probably, yeah.
But it was interesting, and like you say, when two people both emotional eaters, it is literally a disaster waiting to happen, and that is what happened. And I'd lost 1.5 stone from September to December. Felt bloody brilliant. Had about half a stone to go, so I was like at my peak. Yeah, I put that 1.5 stone back up. It was
But
not
that's
the
good that
best
you're being honest about that. So many people aren't honest, are they, when that happens? So I think that's you can move forward now because you've spoken about it.
Yeah, and I do think there's a great freedom in life in not letting your weight or that number dictate how you feel about yourself. From what I mean by that is, obviously, we do. I didn't feel great a couple of weeks ago at all, but I've got to a place where I know that I am no better or worse now than I was 2 weeks ago because of what my weight is, and also that number is a number, and I think if you can accept I'm an emotional eater, I've got a problem with food, then, and I've always said, if my weight's going up, things aren't good. My weight will never go up because I'm living my best life. It won't. It will go up because things are really stressful and I'm eating lots.
Yeah.
So I think in a way that means that I don't really mind about putting that bit of weight on anymore, because actually it's like, what are you going to do? Have a go at me for struggling? Have a go at me for being a human being and having a difficult time? So, yeah, I definitely worked a lot on that. But 2 weeks ago, me and Jamie were like, we need to sort our freaking lives out because we're not going to be very good at being weight loss
You get to that
coaches.
Get to that point, don't you?
20 stone again.
Yeah. What? Got to nip it in the bud.
You have to. And that was like, this is the biggest thing this plan ever gave me, is that it never goes beyond a point. It never does. It gets to a certain point, and that's not to say it happens all the time either. Like this has probably happened 4 times in over 4 years. That's not bad. Once a year is
bad
not
at all. I think
bad.
I was about once a year, wasn't I? Before I was finding Christmas and summer maybe going up a little bit. Christmas more so. But yeah, once a year. I feel like that any weight loss coach or any sort of PT that I've ever seen still has times where they rein it back in and kind of reset and set a new challenge, because we are sort of challenge driven people as well, aren't we? We like having that goal. We like having something to work towards. I know I do. When I was just floating around, I was a little bit bored. I was like, oh, in a really good way, because I thought, oh, I'm actually in control, but it is boring. I want something. I want to be excited. I want to, work towards something different. So you've got to set yourself goals that make you work that bit harder. Basically, it doesn't have to be weight loss, but just in life in general.
No, I completely agree. We kind of sat down and we assessed that our life is not actually going to get any better for the foreseeable. Which I think so many people put it off, don't they? Like, I have clients all the time that are like, I'm going through a difficult time at the minute, I need to step back from plan, or things are really bad at the minute, so I can't do it. And I get it. Like, I've been there. I'm never going to be like, wow, that's ridiculous, you need to carry on. Like, of course not. Like, you do you. Like, you know yourself best. I think that there is a point where we have to accept, actually, there's always going to be stuff going on in my life. There's not going to be this magical point where suddenly I have no stress and I wake up with loads of energy and, money's not a worry and, all of these things aren't worries. All of the worries I have today, I will have tomorrow, pretty much. Might be 1 or 2 things, and there'll be, obviously, there's going to be occasions that are, very rare in life, big events that do not happen often that, yes, probably mean you do need to take a step back. But we were like, well, this is kind of always going to be the way. So if we don't start doing something about it now, what do I do? Just accept that I'm going to be 22 stone again? Is that, that's what I have to kind of accept. I have to accept that this will be difficult.
Yeah.
Or I have to accept that it is difficult now, but it's going to be a hell of a lot more difficult when I'm another stone, 2 stone, 3 stone, 10 stone heavier, because all I'm doing is eating. So we were like, right, I'm going back on plan, because you all know me, I absolutely adore one day. I absolutely love taking food away. And actually, when life is like this, that is a blessing in disguise, to be able to just not think. Like, not have to
takes
think
away
about
all of
food.
that work, doesn't it? Yeah, it removes the food noise for you. and it's not for everyone. I said this on my page the other day. It's not everybody wants to do that. I've never done it. I'm more a little bit of food I prefer to have alongside, but the majority of my clients are the same as you, and they need to remove it completely because they are addicted to food and they need to take it away for a minute.
It's so, and I think that there's, we need to be in a place where we're like, look, guys, it's 2025. We need to stop with the silly, preconceived ideas that we have about things. We feed into the shame that we hold ourselves, right? When we tell ourselves that you shouldn't have to do meal replacement products, or that's not healthy, or that's not sustainable. And it's like, well, yes, Sandra, I'm not intending to do this for the rest of my life, but I need to do it for a little bit, in the same way that when I gave up smoking, I wore nicotine patches for a bit because vapes weren't a thing back then. And, I stopped smoking, and then I had periods where I started smoking again, and I stopped smoking, and then it's just, there's nothing else in life, I think, where you get the judgment on you that you get.
I was just going to say that you wouldn't have had judgment for that, would you? Like, oh, she's just having a cigarette again, or she's going to have to give up again. It's just not even a big deal to them. But with food, oh my God, the judgment and the opinions are just insane.
But even like the way in which people lose weight, it's like, we always say, lose weight whatever way works for you. Like, we'll never sit here and demonize any weight loss method, because they all have a purpose for a particular type of person. We're passionate about the plan because we know the clients we work with. We know that for them, this is the answer. Like, the other things don't work. Like, if I look at what our life's been like the last couple of weeks, would I have been able to have done what I've done on any other plan that required me to prepare food, cook, shop for food, tracks? No, I don't have the time for that.
No, and it's not wanting to do that as well. That's not something that you enjoy or you're prepared to do. And that's okay, because that's your choice. It's your life, isn't it? You lose weight how you want to lose weight. That's what I don't understand when people get so opinionated. It's just let people do what they want to do. Why does it matter? Why does it affect you? It doesn't.
That's it. And if you're doing it because it's genuinely something that's going to help you, and you're doing it with somebody, and you're having that support, and you're, doing it properly, it is not in any way bad, dangerous, none of that. Where it becomes those things is if you're just, say, for example, getting products off online from people you don't know what what's in those products.
We've got no support either. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know if you're in the right, kind of the plan that you're supposed to be on, or that's safe for you to be on.
And that is where I think it gets a really bad reputation, because that's when things all start falling to pieces. But for me and Jamie, this has been a godsend, because it's really helped. And I would challenge you to find a plan out there that I would be 2 weeks in, 4 products a day, and a stone down in 2 weeks.
But even that's too quick, that's too fast. But it doesn't make any difference. You can lose weight fast or slow. It doesn't actually make a difference to whether you're going to maintain it or not. Again, that's a myth. Or if you lose it quickly, you'll put it on quickly. No. If you lose weight slowly, you can still. I've got people that have lost weight over years and done really well on other plans. Slow, steady weight loss, gained it all back within a year. The same. Because they've gone back to their old habits.
Is it, and there's nothing there's no correlation within your physical makeup that if your fat metabolizes quickly, it will come back quickly. The reason why we see that people who lose weight quickly tend to put it on quickly is because they do very restrictive, bad diets that are very low in nutrition. They become deficient in certain nutrients. They become deficient in other important things their body needs. And so when they go back to eating, there isn't a staged approach to it. They just throw themselves in and go back to eating how they were before, because there's been no behaviour change. We've always said this about the plan. We went into it in loads of detail with our series we did, explaining it, that the whole plan is designed to tackle behaviour and nutrition and creating that calorie deficit. So when you do it, you are setting yourself up for more success. But I just said, I'm a key example of, doesn't mean there won't be lapses in the future. But the key is to park your ego. And whenever you do have that lapse, you don't let it go past the point. You just accept it for what it is. You draw a line and you throw yourself back into something with I went back onto plan almost like it was coming home. It would be like you going home because life's getting stressful. You're going back to your parents' house, right? Yeah. That is almost the way it makes me feel, is I'm going back to my little safe place for a bit. But
the fact that you see it like that and really positive, you're not going back and thinking, oh, I have to do this, and you're not doing it as a punishment. That's quite nice to hear that. You're seeing it as a real comfortable, nice place to be, that's lovely.
It really is. But we've always said, haven't we, mindset is everything. and how you view it is absolutely vital. And it wasn't a case that when I started the plan, I've always had this opinion, because like I've mentioned many times, Gemma, when I came with Gem to plan, it was my 6th dive. Guess how much success I had on the other time? But it was because I completely changed like how I viewed what I was doing. And that was important. Like I said, lost a stone, Jamie's down 11 pounds.
Amazing.
Feeling amazing, feeling like I've got more energy. It's just, it's mad how much of a big mountain I thought I had to climb 2 weeks ago that suddenly feels like a very manageable hill.
Yeah, it happens so quickly, doesn't it? But you can feel like a different person so quickly. That's what I find fascinating, how fast people can change how they feel.
I know, it is, it's the best extra benefit of this plan is just how quickly you feel better. Weirdly, do you want to know like one of the funniest things I noticed now? So since I've had my second round of surgery, I noticed that when I put weight on, I put it on in the bottom of my back, which is a bizarre place to put weight on. Yeah, I basically lose the curve in my back at the bottom.
Wow.
And my curve is back, which is nice. And so that is a real positive. And I'm just feeling really good. The buzzing with my clients is brilliant. They're all like cheering Jamie on and like really
I love that.
Like helping
They
him
probably
go
quite
on as
like
well.
it that you two are kind of doing the same as well, because it gives them motivation as well. And when you're in you're like, the advice changes, doesn't it? Because you're actually feeling it, like you know literally how that person's feeling in that moment. I think that's really powerful when you're on plan as a consultant.
100%. And like literally, if you're listening to this, right, and you've been struggling or life's really stressful, know that if me and Jamie can do this at this moment in time, when our life is how it is,
it's true.
You can do it. You can absolutely do it. It all comes down to having to just be comfortable with a bit of discomfort, picking the lesser of two evils, and realizing that if I don't tackle the difficult stuff today, I'm only giving myself more difficult stuff to tackle tomorrow. So if you have been struggling, maybe everything's been going a bit doolally, maybe you felt a bit crap because, you know, you've been seeing new year, new me, and maybe you're like, it's nearly March. Like, what is going on here? Use today. Have a product. Drink some water now. Go and like reach out to your consultant that you've been ghosting.
Yeah.
Check in on them. See how things are going.
Yeah.
Because you will not regret it. Because literally, what is it, 4 weeks, Jan? And the clocks move again. Light and I.
Oh my God, is it? Is it 4 weeks?
Yeah. End of March.
Time's going quick, isn't it? I can't believe we're nearly at the end of February already. That's crazy.
So what we got, like March, April, May. So you think that by the summer, which is June, you could be 3 stone down. Or you could be 3 months down the line. We're already 2 months into the new year. It feels like Christmas was yesterday. So it's pretty much the time we've had from Christmas, plus a little bit extra. Or you could be really annoyed and getting worried about the fact that there's some nice weather forecast one weekend. And you're thinking, shit.
Yeah, I always say that. The time's going to pass anyway. You can't stop it.
It is.
So you can either use it wisely or not.
Crack on and do it. I will give a little update each week on here, Jan. We'll do a little update on how I'm getting on and how I'm getting on. But I wanted to just come on and give that little bit of an update and hopefully a bit of motivation if your life's chaotic, that you can do it. You can absolutely do it. We are going to round it off there for this episode. We are going to try and get 2 episodes out this week, though, which is, very impressive for us, Jem, I must say. So just for the sheer, effort, the love you have for us, do like this video or this episode. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure that you subscribe or follow. On Spotify, you can give us a review. How fun is that? Like, give us a 5-star review. Well, you don't have to give us a 5-star, but do give us a 5-star review.
Please do.
Please do. And also make sure on YouTube to give it a like, hit the bell notification and subscribe. And the other thing that we'd really appreciate is if you share the podcast with someone. Share this podcast with somebody that you feel like is also going through a difficult, chaotic time that could use a bit of a boost, because it really helps, doesn't it, Jem? Like people sharing, liking, all of that. It sounds beggy.
God, it does. Yeah, but it does help. It massively helps. And it's quite a few of my clients have started sharing it. And then it just means some of my other clients, even though I share it every week, I sometimes think if somebody else shares it, it's more, people notice it more. I don't know why.
Yeah. No, they really do. And also the algorithms like that at the minute. That apparently is the big thing they're liking. They like a share. They like to know that people want to share your content, that it's actually worth something. So
But people don't realise that that's the thing, do they? They don't think that they would need to share it. So actually, yeah, if you want to share, if you enjoyed it, please share it.
Yeah, please do. Even if you just share it with, like, I don't know, just another person on plan or your consultant or anyone, because YouTube don't know who it's going to. They just like the fact you shared it with someone. Anyway, that's enough of the bag. Okay. We are going to get going. I'll put all of the details as well down in the show notes where you can find us on socials. And until next week, it is goodbye from me.
And bye from me.
And we'll see you all again really soon.